Have you ever thought, who was the most important person in the world ever? There's lots of bluster these days, so I want to tell you what we know for sure and what is believed about a man who billions of people believe is the most important ever. There's little surviving written documentation from official government documents of the time he lived on Earth. Not surprising, as he was a nobody in the eyes of the officials of the time. In fact, where he lived was an outpost of the Roman Empire, and there's little surviving documentation about who the key officials were either. Though Pilate's name, the Roman governor of the time, has been found engraved in stone. Sadly, no one has found the census that we believe his name would first appear on. Wouldn't that be something to find that? We do have the Bible, which was written by many people before and after his birth and death. So we can check with what we know of the places and people of the time against what's said in the Bible. Let me tell you what we know and can be pretty sure about. In a small town, Bethlehem, which still exists, and with that name, within a Roman province called Judea, which is in what we now call Israel, a child named Jesus was born to poor parents who had no status other than that the father, Joseph, was one of the many descendants of King David of Israel. Jesus was born in the town that the Jewish scriptures state will produce the Messiah. That's a word to describe the most important religious leader and king who will connect the Jewish people to God in a glorious way and to the family line of King David, again as set out in the scriptures. We believe from the Bible account, though we have no physical evidence, that astrologers who read the night sky came to acknowledge his special kingly status with gifts soon after his birth. We do know from accounts written either by people who were witnesses or who had heard the accounts of witnesses how this man changed the world. They record that over a period of about 3 years he travelled on foot around the Jerusalem area, giving talks to all who would listen, healing people and doing things that defy the normal rules of nature, supernatural things. His message to the religious rulers of the day was powerful and challenging. It was that they got it wrong about God, that to be welcomed by God into his heavenly kingdom, which was not one of this world, God did not need people to follow very strict rules and show off to others how good they were and how long they could pray for. He required them to love each other and to love him. And that Jesus was so much a part of God that he could be called Son of God, and that believing as much and then following his teachings and example would mean that God would welcome them into God's kingdom. This did not go down well with the religious leaders, to say the least. So they got the Roman rulers, the governor Pilate mentioned before, to kill Jesus by nailing him to a wooden cross, a very public death. That might be the end of an eventful life, but it wasn't. 3 days later, he appeared to his close followers, showed them that he was alive, and started a movement that has grown and grown. Today, there are over 2 million people in Wales and 2.2 billion people across the world who believe and follow Jesus, more than any other religion, and the numbers are growing. I hope that you will want to know about Jesus and to know more about his message and know why his message changed everything and why he is the most important person in the world ever.